Have you ever felt like God gave you a vision, but then everything went dark? What if that darkness is part of His plan? As the sun was setting, a deep sleep came over Abram, and suddenly great terror and darkness descended on him. Genesis 15:12 CSB. When God gives us a vision, He often follows it with a time of waiting, a season that feels like stepping into darkness. In these moments, our job isn't to act, but to be still and listen. Sometimes the darkness comes because we've seen too much light at once, and we need time to process what God has shown us. In Genesis 16, we see the danger of acting on good advice instead of waiting for God's timing. When Abram and Sarai tried to fulfill God's promise on their own, they created conflict and pain. But when God brings a vision and darkness follows, He's asking us to trust Him and wait. Abram waited 13 long years in silence after God's promise. Those years weren't wasted. They were a time of discipline, where God stripped away Abram's self-reliance. Isaiah 50:10-11 reminds us, "Let him rely on the name of the Lord. Let him lean on his God." Trying to force joy or confidence only leads to failure. Instead, we must place our trust completely in God, not in people, books, or even spiritual practices, but in God Himself. When we learn to rely on Him fully, everything else becomes less important. Other voices, opinions, and actions lose their power to shake us because our foundation is solidly built on God. Here is our life application point for today. Are you waiting on God right now? Don't try to fix things or force results. Trust Him through the darkness, knowing He's using this time to deepen your faith and reliance on Him. Let your confidence rest not in His blessings, but in who He is, El Shaddai, the all-sufficient God.